Year Merit Award winner. This is Western Mass News.
We begin with developing news this evening. A man from Western Mass is dead following a triple shooting in Washington, D.C. earlier this week. Welcome to Western Mass News at 6 on this Wednesday. I'm Chris Pisano.
And I'm Amanda Martin Ryan. Western Mass News reporter Addie Patterson joins us live in studio with more on what we know about this incident so far. Addie.
Chris and Amanda, the shooting taking the life of 21-year-old UMass student Eric Terpian Yakum of Granby, Massachusetts. That fatal shooting taking place just before 10:30 Monday night. Terpian Yakum was in Washington, D.C. working as a congressional intern for Kansas Congressman Ron Estes. According to the Metropolitan Police Department, officers responded to the sound of gunshots. When they arrived at the 1200 block of 7th Street Northwest, police located an adult woman, a 16-year-old boy, and Terpian Yakum, who was unconscious at the time. All three victims were breathing and suffering from gunshot wounds. They were then taken to the hospital where Terpian Yakum was given all possible life-saving measures. Yesterday, he succumbed to his injuries at the hospital. Investigators claim that multiple suspects exited a car, which has since been recovered, and began firing at the three victims. Police believe Terpian Yakum was not the intended target of the shooting. Western Mass News reached out to the University of Massachusetts Amherst, where Terpian Yakum was a student. They provided us with a statement which reads, "The university has learned of a student's death in Washington, D.C. and is in communication with the student's family. We extend our deepest condolences to all who knew him and will be communicating with the campus shortly to offer support." Police in D.C. are asking anyone with knowledge of the incident to contact them. A reward is also being offered for anyone who provides information that leads to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the homicide. Reporting live in studio, Addie Patterson, Western Mass News.
All right, Addie, thank you for that live report.